Hey everybody, it's time to swing with Still Swinging, and I'm your host, Thomas. And today, family, we headed to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We had a problem in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, family. All right, at a local swimming pool, two different groups of teenagers got into an altercation of the physical kind. After the fight, a short while later, one of the groups of teenagers showed back up with retribution on their mind. After the melee, 5 people suffered from gunshot wounds, including a 10 and 11-year-old boy, also a staff member. All right, look, we're going to take a journey into what happened, and I get back with my commentary after. Look, family, fellas, if you're not subscribed, make sure you become a subscriber. Smash that like button, because y'all know I be bringing it.
From Philadelphia's mayor to the community, frustration is mounting over the gun violence in our city. Rec centers used to be places for kids to play safely, but as we have seen time and time again, that is no longer the case. Today's shooting outside a rec center and community pool in West Philadelphia happened while dozens of kids were swimming and its summer camp had just wrapped for the day. 5 people were injured, including 4 children, the youngest just 10 years old. This is the 10 o'clock news. I'm Sheba Russell. Here's what we know so far. Police say sometime this afternoon a fight broke out near Christie Rec Center. It was broken up, but then the people involved in that fight returned to the area and opened fire. 2 young children, 10 and 11 years old, were grazed by bullets. 2 teenagers, both 16 years old, are also recovering tonight. One is in critical condition. And an adult rec center employee was also grazed. Our Shawnette Wilson is live at Philadelphia Police Headquarters for us tonight. Shawnette, we are most certainly feeling the frustration and the sadness here.
And Sheba, this was the first day that this pool was open, the first chance that these kids had to be there and swim around. It was just filled over the weekend. What has happened has rocked this community.
That means that you have no regard for human life. You have no regard for our young people.
A tragic scene at Christie Recreation Center in West Philly this afternoon. Police crime scene tape around the pool and parts of the building. Shell casings on the ground, even a bullet hole in this car parked near the corner of 56 and Christian.
Those people who are responsible, whomever they are, once the investigation is complete, any and everyone associated with this will be held accountable.
City officials were upset and angry to report a shooting that left 5 people hurt. Investigators say police took a 10-year-old boy and 11-year-old girl to CHOP, both with graze wounds and in stable condition. They say a 16-year-old boy arrived at another hospital where he is in critical condition. Another 16-year-old boy was taken to Penn Presby in stable condition. And lastly, a 32-year-old man who is a city employee with the rec center suffered a graze wound to the hand and is in stable condition.
To find that we have almost 75 children in the pool, and individuals will come down here and fire when our children are here. There are boundaries. And if they don't set the boundaries, then we will set them for them.
Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel says early information is that there was a fight here earlier in the day, that rec center staff and an officer on detail here broke up. But around 4 o'clock, people came back.
Fired at individuals who were not in the pool but on 56th Street outside of the pool.
Harold Boswell is a community crisis intervention advocate with an organization called Eddie's House.
It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because I got kids and my team. They got kids.
He says they canvass this area almost every day.
We tell people all the time, you got a problem, reach out to us. We'll try to solve it for you. It don't have to go this far.
Eli Mount lives nearby.
Why kids can't just come here and have fun, besides somebody coming here and start shooting at people?
And police tell us they have a lot of video to look at for clues. Of course, the rec center has cameras. They also went into a convenience store on the corner, Sheba, to get video from their cameras. They're asking anyone who has information about this shooting to call 215-686-TIPS. And just from the community here, this is, I want to be clear, not information confirmed by police, Sheba, but on the scene today, a lot of people in the community were saying that this had something to do with an argument over a girl. Again, not confirmed by police. But many people out there were saying that tonight, including some of the community leaders who canvassed that area and were talking to young people while we were out there.
Don't make no sense, fellas. just a regular day at the pool. All right. Two groups of teenagers get into a fight. Okay. One group of teenagers don't like how it ended, don't like how it went down. They go get distracted. They come back. Pandemonium. They're going to have them before the night over with. All of them. All right. They know exactly who got into the fight. Okay. They know exactly what happened. And I could have told you from the beginning, as soon as I heard what happened, that it was over something silly. Okay? Because only a kid would think of doing something like that. All right? Would think that would make any kind of sense to go and do something like that. Only a kid who got something to prove and rationalized in his mind that this thing in his hand make him tough. And it's going to make him get respect. And it's going to make him sit in the penitentiary for the rest of his days. Because he don't understand crime and punishment. Because you know who raised him. All right? Who you think he raised these emotional boys to be so emotional and can't get out of their feelings to the point they cause this kind of mayhem over a fight, over a girl, because they don't understand their feelings from what's really going on. Okay? And when you talk to these young guys, they think, talk, act just like ladies, just like all the behaviors you would expect from an unruly woman, fellas. That's who raised these boys. All right, they don't like authority. All right, because they not used to it. All right, listen, when you grow up the way I grew up, you unruly. You don't have no respect for authority. All right, I didn't know that's what that was a major problem of mine growing up. That I didn't know how to follow the rules because I didn't respect authority. I didn't think the rules applied to me. Just like those kids who would go get themselves into something like that. Thank God I never went and got myself into nothing like that, fellas. All right, that I wasn't about that. All right, but I knew plenty of dudes, even some of the dudes that I ran with, they would do stuff like that. All right, and they all suffer the same fate, one or the other. I ain't got to say what those two fates are. All right, and these young guys, to come to the conclusion that this would be the answer to their problems, they can't get out of their feelings. All right, they don't have no structure. When you remove the men, you remove the structure. You remove the structure is no discipline. Without discipline, you can't hold someone accountable. Okay, they have no fear. They have no boundaries. Okay, mama is not the discipline once I get of a certain age. All right, she is no longer of discipline to me. All right, her words mean absolutely nothing. All right, it's like those lions in the jungle. You know, when the men go off, you know, when he know it's time to run his sons off. All right, he go off into the jungle and he patrol his territory. And he come back and he see his big youngs, his big sons, they getting big. And they forgot the pecking order. Now when it's time to eat and he go to the meal, his son's already there. All right, because they used to running over the women while he was gone. And he understand what this means. It's a direct challenge to his authority. And they gotta go. See, without the men, that authority never there to keep them in check from the beginning. And when they realize they messed up, it ain't no staying. They getting out. You see, these young guys don't really truly understand consequences. They've been dealing with mama, where they could just explain it, talk their way out of it, get mad, and she gets scared and don't want to deal with them. See, it's no true correction around here because don't no men live here. All right, and the kind of men that live here get ran. He don't have no say around here. All right, don't nobody around here listen to him. All right, yeah, it's that kind of environment. All right, and that kind of environment breed these kind of children, these kind of young rebels. And every rebel got his cause. The problem is you can't force nobody to buy in to your cause or join your cause. All right, because a lot of us got some sense and they know your cause don't make no damn sense. All right, anytime your cause got you going to do something like that, after a dispute and a physical altercation, all right, because your emotions running high and you can't check them. All right, and a man that can't check his emotions going to end up in the penitentiary. A man that live in his feelings usually live in the penitentiary. All right. It been proven to me time and time again that when he stay in his feelings, he probably going to be one of those guys who stay in jail. All right. Listen, because this the kind of stuff your emotions will make you do when you don't have no way of controlling them and you don't understand your emotions. All right, because most of the guys I know, they just like me. You got one emotion that you in touch with. All right, your respect. And any line that get crossed is disrespect. You don't know nothing about you just embarrassed. No, he disrespected me. You don't know nothing about he hurt your feelings. No, he disrespected me. Everything get chalked up to disrespect where I'm from. All right, because when it's disrespect, it's easy to draw the line and declare war. All right, because anybody in the hood know disrespect call for war. All right, and you chalk everything up that you don't like the disrespect. Even a fight that you and a man agreed to get into, one of y'all won and one of y'all lost. Somebody couldn't accept it. Somebody need to come back bigger and better and do a little more damage or a whole lot more damage. All right. But he did some damage to some people, fellas, and he going to do some damage to himself because he going to be sitting still about this damage he done or however many of them it was, fellas. All right. Because let me explain something to you. Crime and punishment, it go together like peanut butter and jelly, but a lot of these youngsters don't understand it because they go from dealing with mama to dealing with professional law enforcement, where this story that he made up in his head about it wasn't him ain't gonna work. This great grand story that he made up about how he wasn't dead, he don't know it ain't gonna work. All right, they ain't even gonna pay that no mind. He going straight to jail. All right, and he gonna be sleeping with grown men. All right, because trust me, this the work of children. Only children pull off something like this. Grown men know better. Grown men usually a lot more in touch with their feelings. All right, and understand this ain't the time or the place to be doing nothing stupid like this. All right, because you got a lot of people here that ain't have nothing to do with this fight. All right, but when you need to make a statement and you need to rep your hood, and it got to be more than about what just happened. It got to be about, you know what I'm saying, y'all repping your hood. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe doing one of your drill songs about it. That ain't how it's going to go. That ain't how it's going to go. You're going to be in a cell looking stupid, asking God if he could just give you another chance. All right, whole time. Whenever it's time, you know you play tough. But when you go and get in that bump, you cry yourself to sleep. Because you know you ain't getting out of here no time soon. And these men in here, they don't love you. And you can't protect yourself behind your 40 in here. All right. And guess what? Ain't nobody coming to save you. Ain't nobody coming to save you. All you got to do is think, youngster. All you got to do is want something out of life. If you want something out of life, you ain't going to make a move like that. All right, because you know that ain't gonna get you nothing out of life. You gotta understand your feelings from what's really going on. You got into a fight and you was upset. You in your feelings. All right, you lost. Or you lost and you feel like y'all got the short end of the stick. Fellas, they're your feelings. You got to learn how to take a loss in life. All right? You got to learn how to bounce back from a loss. You don't bounce back from a loss by losing even more, because you're going to lose everything from that loss. All right? What you think you're going to gain? Not much. Not much. And what you're going to gain, you don't want it. You don't want it. The price of what you've done, youngster, I'm telling you, you can't afford it. You got 5 people laid up behind some stuff that I'm sure, pretty certain, at least most of them had nothing to do with, if any of them, because I don't know. I wasn't there. What I'm telling you is this was the work of some fools, some bleeding idiots, and you're going to get everything you're looking for. All right, because you ain't going to get away with it. That's why I tell you, kids, you rationalized in your mind how you going to get away with it. That's how they went through with this. They told themselves the story they going to tell if the police come and get. That ain't going to work. You're going to be sitting in the cell with that story. You're going to be telling it to your cell buddy. All right? All right? And then when you see don't nobody believe you, you're just going to stop it. Take the charade off. You're going to go to court and cop out. All right? Because that 30 years is going to be better than the rest of your life. All right? But it's what you deserve for what you've done. You remove the men, you remove the structure. You remove the structure, there is no discipline and nobody to hold them accountable. They free to run rampant. And when they run rampant, this the things they do because they can't get out of their feelings. They was raised by people who live in their feelings and can't get out of their feelings, okay? And they don't know their feelings from what's really real, all right? We listen to them every day. They parade across our screens every day. They don't know their feelings from what's really going on. And they train these boys, and these boys stay in their feelings, all right? And when they get in front of authority, they think they can run their feelings on authorities. And their feelings should be a justification for their actions. And they end up in the cell. Just like always. Just like always. It ain't going to change. It ain't going to get better. We got to make it better, family. Let's do better. Fellas, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the program. Smash that like button. Still swinging out.